Su Wanli, get on your knees, kowtow, and admit your mistake. The Marquis household's reputation has been utterly ruined by a jinx like you. Hand over the keepsake your mother left behind, now. Stop playing dumb and throwing a tantrum. So noisy, worse than a marketplace. You've been eyeing that keepsake for over a decade. Bet you even dream about gold and jewels. You just think what my mother left is some priceless treasure that'll lift you all to glory. Your envy's practically burning. You know perfectly well that belongs to the Marquis household. You're just a helpless orphan girl, unloved by your father, unprotected by your mother. What right do you have to keep it? Hand it over. It's only proper for the household to safeguard it, lest your clumsy hands lose it and ruin something precious. Elder sister, mother is only thinking of your well-being. That treasure is extremely valuable. A young girl like you could never hold on to it. It'll only bring trouble your way. Give it to me. I care about you most, elder sister. I'll put in good words for you with father in the future. I'll make sure you're not mistreated in this household. I can even get you a nicer courtyard. That's it? Little sister, so generous. You're just eyeing my mother's keepsake, hoping to grab it for yourself. And dressing it up so righteously. I can smell the insincerity from a mile away. Spare me this act of sisterly devotion. It turns my stomach. Unfilial wretch. Enough with your glib tongue. Hand over the keepsake, and I may pardon your insolence this time. Otherwise, family discipline awaits, beaten until you submit. Huh? Family discipline? Those so-called rules you cooked up. You only dare use them to torment a legitimate daughter like me, who has no mother to protect her. But when facing powerful outsiders, you grovel like obedient little lapdogs. That bootlicking truly brings honor to the Marquis household. Insolence. How dare you show such disrespect to your elders? Defiant and unfilial. You are the shame of the Marquis household. You're the disgrace of the Su family. Disgrace? My mother was a peerless beauty in her day, renowned throughout the martial world. Everyone knew her. Marrying into this bootlicking, wretched Marquis was the real blind mistake. That was the greatest disgrace of her life. I've eaten cold leftovers in this Marquis, lived in a drafty, crumbling courtyard, been ground down by you all for over a decade, beaten and cursed at the slightest provocation, mistreated on a whim. This is the Marquis manor's greatest disgrace. Don't you dare sling mud at me. What nonsense are you spouting? Have you lost your mind? Go fetch the item from the hidden compartment, now, or I'll have someone flay you alive, throw you out of the Marquis, leave you begging on the streets. You want it? Here. Stop buzzing around my ears like flies. You're giving me a headache. Just this one grimy, black scrap of an iron token. Covered in rust. What kind of treasure is this? It's worth less than scrap iron on the street. I wouldn't take it even for free. Where's the gold? Where are my gold ingots? Why is it just a piece of junk? Well, you little wretch, you hid this cursed thing to fool us? I thought it was gold, silver, or jewels. Turns out it's just scrap iron. You must have a death wish. Toying with us on purpose. So loud. Hurts my ears. Going through menopause? Oh no. That thing, the Shin family's martial world influence, cursed. Throw this trash away, quickly. Don't let it soil the manor grounds. It'll bring disaster from the martial world. The whole Marquis will suffer because of you. Let me enlighten you fools. Ha ha ha. Trash? This Xianxia token commands thousands of former Qingming Pavilion followers in the martial world with a single order. It can turn this capital city upside down. It can make bootlicking vermin like you meet a miserable end. You're all just frogs at the bottom of a well. Blind, ignorant fools. How dare you call it worthless scrap? It's utterly laughable. From this day forward, I, Su Wanli, sever all ties with the Marquis of Yongning's household. We are cut apart completely. In life or death, we shall have no further dealings. From now on, I'll walk my own broad road. And you can cross your single plank bridge. If anyone dares to stop me, don't blame me for showing no mercy with my sword. Don't say I didn't honor old ties. You wouldn't dare. Without the Marquis' household to protect you, you have not a penny to your name. Without power or influence, unable to take a single step out there. Sooner or later, you'll die in the streets. When that time comes, don't come crying back, begging us to take you in. Elder sister, you're just too willful. Leaving the Marquis' household, you simply won't survive. Better to obediently hand over the token and stay here to admit your mistake. Look at this little brat. She's even learned to put on a show. And with such a loud voice, you're hurting my ears. A mere girl dares to resist? Watch how I handle you. Unable to take a single step? Better than staying in this cage, letting you butcher me, suffering abuse every day. I have no use for this estate's hollow splendor, nor will I touch the filth and rot within its walls. You can all keep this broken down Marquis estate, slowly tearing each other apart over inheritance and schemes. This lady is done playing along. From now on, the mountains are high and the rivers long. We shall never meet again. I'm off to find my own carefree life, to slack off and lie flat, living it up day by day. Never again will I have to watch your faces. She just left like that? My god, is that you? God of carbs. Street flatbreads still smell the best. 100 times better than the estate's rotten scraps. So this is the right way to just slack off and take it easy? Miss, you just came out of the Marquis mansion, didn't you? I heard you severed ties with the Marquis household. That's really impressive. That Marquis mansion is no place for decent people. Isn't that the truth? Staying there just makes you feel stifled. Better to be out here, free and easy. Eat when you're hungry, sleep when you're tired. It's absolutely wonderful. With a procession like this, which noble lady are they looking for? I'm just an orphan girl who was just thrown out of the Marquis mansion. I have no connection to the imperial family whatsoever. This servant is precisely looking for the legitimate daughter of the Yoning Marquis mansion. Miss Su, that is you. Me? The legitimate daughter? Has her gaze fallen onto my sesame cake? Your eyes must be failing you, Gong Gong. I severed all ties with the Yoning Marquis mansion long ago. The moment I stepped out of the Marquis mansion gates, I no longer have anything to do with that wretched place. This servant is aware of the young lady's severance of ties. Word has long since reached the palace. His Majesty and His Highness the Prince Regent are fully aware. Well, I just left the newbie village, and I'm already on the global announcement board. So, my cutting ties with the Marquis mansion has become the palace's headline gossip? Miss Su, please mind your demeanor. His Majesty is waiting. His Majesty is swamped with state affairs, yet he still concerns himself with my trivial matters. By the mandate of heaven, the Emperor decrees, the commoner Su Wanli, of candid and genuine disposition, of uncommon moral integrity, who does not fawn over worldly customs, and dares to act and take responsibility. Oh, the flattery sounds quite nice. Good wording, say more, I like hearing it. Is hereby specially granted in marriage to the Prince Regent, Xianxia. The wedding shall take place immediately on an auspicious day. There must be no mistake. Thus decreed. Huh? What in the world did he just say? The Prince Regent? Say that again? Bestowed in marriage to whom? The Prince Regent. I'm just a nobody with no family backing or connections. And you're pairing me with the Prince Regent, who holds all the power in court. Is His Majesty going senile and issuing the wrong decree? Or did you, eunuch, read it wrong? The imperial edict is absolutely genuine. There is no mistake. It is precisely because you severed ties with the Marquis house, freeing you from noble entanglements and political factions, that marrying into the prince's estate poses no risk of meddling by outside relatives, nor will it stir up court disputes. You are the most suitable candidate, so cutting ties was the right move. It made me the top choice for princess consort. This whole situation is really, I never thought it'd turn out this well. I mean, seriously, would you want this kind of blessing? Huh? The princess consort is wise. That is exactly the reasoning. The imperial edict cannot be defied. Please, your highness, return with this servant to prepare for the wedding. Do not make things difficult for us. We're done for. This girl is doomed to fall into the Prince Regent's hands. That Prince Regent is as cold as a block of winter ice, and keep my distance from women, and is a nitpicking perfectionist. He won't tolerate the slightest mistake. Marrying him means certain misery. The Prince Regent's manor has strict rules, even more rigid than the imperial palace. Not the slightest disorder is allowed. This girl has a wild nature, loves to be carefree, she'll probably be kept on a tight leash, scolded every day. Poor thing. Cold, lots of rules. A perfectionist, isn't that just perfect? I hate the heat and love to laze around. I don't like being bossed around, but I do love mooching off a free big mansion, food and shelter without spending a dime. Marry him? I'll marry him right now. A bargain like this is too good to pass up. Only an idiot wouldn't marry him. In 30 years of service, I've never seen the like. Rushing to marry the Prince Regent. She must have the wrong script. Who cares? As long as the job gets done. This lady is refreshingly straightforward. We must treat her with respect. Her Highness is most wise. This servant will ready the palanquin and escort Her Highness back to the manor for the wedding preparations. That was quick. Looks like I'll be moving into that grand manor today. Absolutely delighted. Calm down, Xianxia. You are the Prince Regent, wielding power over the entire court. Dignity, remember. Dignity, take a breath. I can't keep my dignity. This prince is going to blow his top right here. This is absurd. It is an utter absurdity. His Majesty knows full well that I detest romantic entanglements and keep my distance from women, yet he thrusts an abandoned daughter of the Marquis house upon me. Is he deliberately trying to provoke me? Does he want me to have a heart attack on the spot? Absurd. This is simply absurd. Why, Your Highness, an imperial decree cannot be defied. To resist the decree is a capital offense, punishable by death. This Miss Su has no family backing, so she can silence the endless gossip of the court officials. Just endure it for a few days, and presumably, she won't be able to stir up any trouble. Endure it? She dared to overturn the ancestral shrine of the Marquis' house, and publicly severed ties with the Marquis' family. Her temperament must be unruly and domineering, crude and ill-mannered, even without the Marquis' house to entangle her. Once she enters this prince's manor, won't she turn the orderly household I've meticulously maintained completely upside down, throwing it into utter chaos? It's enough to trigger my obsessive need for order. Steady now, I can handle this. His Highness simply needs a voice of reason. Yes, praise her to the skies. Her Highness has a forthright nature, is far better than those young ladies who are all false courtesy, with daggers hidden behind their smiles. Your Highness, set your mind at ease. Presumably, Her Highness knows her limits. She won't be too outrageous. It's like she's dancing right on a minefield. It's over. The prince is really losing it this time. It had better be so. If she dares disrupt the order of this residence and unsettle my composure, do not blame me for being ruthless. Even if it means defying an imperial edict, I will throw her out. Toss her into the street to starve. This infuriates me. My aloof persona is about to crumble. This servant understands. This servant will immediately arrange the wedding affairs and handle them as discreetly as possible so as not to trouble Your Highness further. Survived. Made it through another day. It seems the prince's heartache won't be easing anytime soon. This main hall is rather impressive. Just a bit empty. Where should I sit? We're done for. Oh no, when the prince returns, someone's going to be killed. Your Highness, that is the main seat in the Great Hall. It is the prince's place. You cannot sit there. And you must not throw melon seed shells on the floor. It violates the rules of the residence. Rules? Have your prince come and discuss them with me. I'm quite comfortable sitting here. And it's convenient to toss the shells. Stop your nagging, it's giving me a headache. Oh, the man himself has arrived. Order and tidiness. My perfect residence. My obsession compels me to murder. Su Wanli, stand up. Respect the rules of this residence. This is the regent's residence, not a place for you to run wild and laze about. Put away those melon seeds at once. Clean this mess up. Rules? Let's set some ground rules first. If we can't agree, then I won't follow any of your rules. At worst, I'll just pack up and leave. I've got nothing to lose anyway. Go ahead. I'd like to see what twisted logic you can come up with. First, I'll live in the side courtyard. We stay out of each other's way. You handle your court affairs, and I'll live my lazy little life. Don't question my whereabouts. Don't interfere in anything I do. Second, every meal must have meat. Rotate through chicken, duck, fish, and pork. Don't serve me those bland vegetarian snacks and delicate pastries. I eat a lot. If I'm not full, I'll have no strength. Third, I won't start trouble. But if anyone messes with me, I'll hit them. That includes the manor servants, and even you. Don't try to suppress me with rules. I don't buy into that. What did she just say? Hit me? This is outrageous. In over 20 years of my life, I've never been so insulted. Insolence. This is the Prince Regent's manor, a place of royal dignity, revered by the entire court and nation. How dare you negotiate terms so brazenly? Loud voice, though it cracked a little. Seems you're really furious, huh? A cast-off daughter of a marquis like you dares bargain with me? Dare or not, the imperial edict's been issued. Would the Prince Regent defy an imperial decree? Relax, I won't seize your power, or spend your private silver. I'm purely freeloading and seeking refuge. I absolutely won't cling to you, or get in the way of your ambitions. How dare she? Just think of it as keeping an idle freeloader. What a bargain. My chest hurts so much. I'm about to ascend to heaven from sheer fury. This woman is here to claim my life. You are utterly unreasonable, crude and ill-mannered, with no trace of a proper lady's bearing. Should I? In my entire life, I've never met such a shameless, such infuriating woman as you. This king is about to cough up blood from sheer rage. Heaven itself wants me dead. Oh, can't handle it already? Your Highness's mindset is a bit weak. You've got to learn to let things slide. Stop taking everything so seriously every day. Always splitting hairs. Sticking your nose into every little thing. Finding fault with every little thing. That's an easy way to a short life. Careful you don't just drop dead early. I really don't want to become a widow right after marrying in, and then have to observe mourning. What a terrible deal that would be. I can't. I just can't take it anymore. This woman is trying to anger me to death so she can inherit my princehood. Behave yourself and don't cause trouble for this king. Otherwise, this king will definitely throw you out to wander the streets homeless and never set foot in this manor again. Take care on your way, Your Highness. Remember not to damage your health with anger. A heart attack is not easy to cure. If you really can't handle it, Keep some fast-acting heart pills handy. Saving your life is what matters most. We're done for. We're done for. His Highness is going to be driven sick with anger by the princess consort. How are we supposed to get through the days ahead? Lounging around the princehood for a few days. Exquisite pastries at every meal. Delicacies and rare dishes. Eating till my mouth feels greasy and sick. My mouth is bored to tears. This young lady is going to pull off something big. Loosen the soil more over here. Break up those clods of dirt finer. Leave that spot for cucumbers and beans. Clear another patch for cabbage and radishes. Plant some scallions and cilantro by the wall. We won't have to worry about vegetables for the winter. Pick them fresh and eat them fresh. Princess consort, these are exotic flowers, tribute from the western regions. His Highness treasures them greatly. He spent half a year's painstaking effort tending them. If we dig them up, His Highness will be furious. Furious? Can he slam the table harder than that old man at the Marquis' residence? Small potatoes. These people have guts smaller than peas. Is the prince really that terrifying? Could he be scarier than the token my mother left behind? What's there to fear? If anything happens, I'll take the blame. As for the prince, I'll talk to him. Now get moving. Stop dawdling and holding up my vegetable planting. The sky is falling. The prince's pride and joy has been dug up by the princess consort like a radish patch. My head is going to roll today. Your Highness, disaster. A great disaster. The princess consort, she's dug up the entire back garden. She wants to plant cabbages and radishes. If we delay any longer, everything will be ruined. My flowers, my precious, beloved flowers. Su Wanli, have you lost your mind? Those were exotic plants, tribute from the western regions, worth more than gold. I spent half a year's painstaking effort tending them, and you dared to just dig them up? This is utterly unreasonable, utterly lawless. Oh, here comes the man himself. The show's about to start. No matter how precious, exotic flowers can't be eaten, and they're so fussy to look at. Taking care of them is a ridiculous hassle. Nothing like cabbages, radishes, cucumbers, and beans. Now that's practical. Grow them well, and you won't worry about vegetables all winter. It saves money and is practical. Pick them fresh and eat them fresh. How cost-effective is that? Much better than raising these flowers that are all show and no substance. Cost-effective? The flower garden I so carefully cultivated turned by you into a vulgar vegetable patch, and you still dare call it cost-effective? Do you have any regard for me at all? Any respect for the rules of this prince's residence? Are you determined to anger me into a heart attack before you'll stop? I can't cure this bad habit of yours. Your Highness, why not give it a try? Growing vegetables is great for relieving stress. Much more pleasant than reviewing memorials and bickering with old ministers. It also gets your body moving, easing the fatigue of sitting all day. If you can grow them better than me, I'll turn this vegetable patch back into a flower garden. Otherwise, this garden stays put for good. No one changes it. Dare to bet? Filthy thing. My hands are meant for reviewing memorials and steering the course of the realm, not for gripping these firewood sticks. Preposterous. I am the reigning Prince Regent, holding great authority, swamped with countless affairs of state. How could I stoop to such vulgar farming trifles? What would people say if word got out? Oh, weak nerves, Your Highness? This thing's more wrinkled than those old ministers' faces. One touch and you feel debased. If you don't dare to bet, just say so. Don't make excuses. Seems the Prince Regent isn't all that after all. Afraid to even plant vegetables, yet always putting on that aloof front. Her? She actually dares say I'm incapable? I bet it is. You think I can lose to you? It's merely farm work. How hard could it be? Damn it. Why is this blasted soil harder to crack than those old foxes at court? Your Highness, is this planting vegetables? Or just tickling the ground? No strength at all. You're so feeble and limp, it's no good. Looks like this garden is welded in place for sure, no escape. Silence. Stop laughing. I am merely unskilled in such agricultural trifles. Every trade has its master. Practice makes perfect, that's all. Give me another half-quarter hour, and I will certainly grow them better than you. Just you wait and see. Your Highness, are you planting crops or digging your own grave? This texture, this color, I am certain it is fully ripe. It must be picked immediately, or it will be overgrown. No, I said, wait one more day. Your Highness, you understand reviewing memorials, but you just don't understand the heart of a cucumber. As long as she's happy, today, I'll make sure you're humiliated in public. Watch me shame you. The Princess Regent comes from humble origins. Her conduct is erratic and vulgar. She lacks any semblance of grace. She even digs up the garden to plant vegetables at the Regent's residence. Utterly uncouth. She likely brings shame upon the royal family and the Regent's household. She is wholly unworthy of the title of princess. In this subject's humble opinion, His Majesty's decree of this marriage was gravely ill-advised. It should be annulled. So noisy. You're interrupting my meal. These candied fruits are quite sweet. The boss has spoken. Move in. Time to make our mark. Precisely. The princess has lost all decorum. She is unfit for polite society. She disgraces the regent's household, unworthy to preside over the residence. This fruit is good, much sweeter than those old men squabbling. So what if my origins are humble? Better than some who, at an advanced age, hold sinecures, occupying high positions without lifting a finger, and only love to gossip, spreading slander and sowing discord, secretly seizing commoners' lands, taking bribes and twisting the law, forming cliques for personal gain, wallowing in every vile deed. They'd even thrown away all shame. At least I live with an open heart, unlike some people, full of lecherous and thieving thoughts. How dare she slap this old minister's face in public? This is outright rebellion. A snot-nosed brat slandering me, utterly unrefined, no respect for her elders, simply audacious beyond belief, utterly lawless. So being loud makes you right? You're hurting my ears. Slander? Those dirty deeds of yours. Every single one is recorded here, in black and white, with witnesses and material evidence both present. How is this slander? Though I've endured in the Marquis' manor for years, I am not one to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear. This black iron token in my possession can command the Qingming pavilion my mother left behind. After the old guard departed the manor, I sent word for them to gather intelligence in secret. Evidence of your crimes is fully in hand. Collecting these proofs was no difficult task. It's over. All is lost. How could this madwoman know? You dare spy on a high minister of the court? You have some nerve. This prince's consort is not for others to judge or bully at will. If anyone dares speak recklessly again, they shall be charged with contempt of the imperial house and treason, and executed without mercy. There will be no leniency. Oh, your highness is openly shielding her, I see. Aren't you afraid this uncouth consort will drag you down, drawing impeachment from the court officials and angering you until your heart ailment flares up again? Don't flatter yourself. I merely wish to spare the manor from ridicule, and have no desire to fall ill from vexation with you. It is hardly a deliberate effort to protect you. Don't go putting feathers in your own cap. Oh, your mouth says no, but your actions are quite honest. This whole denying what you feel act, you're a total doting husband through and through. What's all the racket in the middle of the night? Can't a person get some decent sleep? Have you no sense of common decency? Take your fight outside. Don't disturb my pleasant dreams. I was just dreaming about gnawing on a pork hock. You've all ruined it for me. Su Wanli, prepare to die. Spare me your words. Today marks your end. This day next year will be the anniversary of your death. Your lines are so cliché. Can't you come up with something new? My ears are growing calluses from hearing them. Even less appealing than the pork knuckle I was dreaming about. With just you bunch of misfits and your pathetic skills, you think you're worthy of killing me? Don't say I didn't warn you. Once the fight really starts, don't say I didn't show any mercy. Even against the helpers from the Qingming pavilion under my command, you wouldn't last a moment. By then, it'll be too late for all your crying and screaming. Don't blame me for not giving you a way out. How arrogant. Just a mere woman, and you dare to spout such nonsense. Brothers, attack. Take her life. Just the thing to stretch my limbs. A bit too much force there. Don't smash the wall. I'd have to fix it. Wrap it up and get back to my dream. Braised pork knuckle, here I come. I'm late. Wait, what's going on here? A group performance art piece? Your skills are far beyond those of an ordinary lady of the inner chambers. What exactly is going on? Just how many secrets are you hiding? Who are you, really? This prince's nerves aren't what they used to be. Frightened by such a minor scene? So many questions. Taking a census, are we? Just a little skill for self-preservation. This martial art was personally passed down by my birth mother before she died. I've trained hard in it since childhood. The black iron token in my bosom is my mother's keepsake. Holding it allows me to command the old followers of the Qingming pavilion in the martial world. Consider it my little secret. Anyway, those who harm me never come to a good end. This prince's consort seems more troublesome than the entire imperial court combined. So that's how it is. You are actually the successor to the Qingming pavilion. This prince never imagined you possessed such abilities. From now on, this prince will no longer underestimate you, nor will I ever think of controlling you. Once the matter of the assassins was thoroughly investigated, the mastermind behind it all pointed directly to the treacherous chancellor and his faction. Seeing the assassination had failed, he knew he was completely exposed. So, like a cornered dog, he decided to jump the wall. He joined forces with his faction, attempting to stage a coup to seize power and usurp the throne. The court was thrown into chaos. Officials were gripped with fear and unease. The capital was in turmoil. The common people were panicked. Where is she? Where could she have run off to at a time like this? Oh my god, I'm over here trying to save the country and its people, and she's over there, living a life of perfect peace. The situation is extremely urgent. The treacherous minister's faction is stirring restlessly. They could launch a coup at any moment. The capital is in complete disarray. And you're still here lazing about, growing vegetables and cracking sunflower seeds? Could you please put in some effort and help ease your prince's burdens? Stop acting like none of this concerns you. Is she even listening to a word I'm saying? Relax. That traitor's petty tricks aren't fit for the stage. They're just a motley crew. They can't withstand a single blow. I can handle them with ease. You don't need to worry. Just rest easy. Leave this matter to me. I guarantee I'll take care of it perfectly for you. The capital is about to be turned upside down, and she's still concerned about whether I've had my snacks. She really has nerves of steel. Or does she actually have a plan? Are you confident? The treacherous minister has many followers, and he holds some military power. He cannot be underestimated. Don't worry, it's all under control. When have I ever let you down? Just wait and watch the show. Should I be more concerned about the manor's hygiene issues first? She calls this a chain of evidence. It looks more like she's moved an entire library here. I can't even see the path when I walk. Good thing I worked overtime last night and glued it all together with super glue. Otherwise, if it fell apart halfway, my whole show would be ruined. Who are you, really? Just an abandoned daughter of a Marquis house, without power or influence. How could you uncover so many secrets, and even rally forces from the martial world? Hold it in, I am the aloof Prince Regent. No, I'm about to suffer internal injuries. This prince requests a temporary leave of absence. I merely carried on my mother's legacy, picked up a few skills for self-defense, and still command some respect in the martial world. Dealing with a treacherous scoundrel like you is more than enough. All done. That's a wrap. I'm hungry. Wonder if the manor's adding chicken legs tonight. Don't overestimate yourself, and don't underestimate me. In my eyes, you're nothing but a clown. What kind of divine treasure did I marry? Before I returned, I thought she was crude and unrefined. I must have been blind. So my princess was hiding her true self all along. Heir to the Qingming Pavilion, commanding forces of the martial world, skilled in both pen and sword. This prince misjudged you. From now on, this prince will protect you without fail. Oh, listen to you. So smooth with words. Quite the charmer. The treacherous minister's faction has confessed and faced justice, receiving their due punishment. The villains of the Marquis manor, for mistreating the legitimate daughter, bullying others with their power, and colluding with the treacherous minister, were summarily dealt with by Xianxia, stripped of titles and property. The all-powerful Prince Regent, tending my vegetables. Who else gets this kind of blessing? So relaxing. This is the life, truly relaxing. No more scheming and plotting. No more watching others' expressions. No more dealing with court intrigues. With vegetables, melons, and you by my side, it beats any wealth or glory. This is the laid-back life I always wanted. It's only truly relaxing with you here. Before, I was tangled up in state affairs, living tight-strung and stifled, obsessing over every little thing. Every day I was vexed by trivial matters. It was you who taught me how to let go, to release my stubborn obsessions, to seek out the simple joys of life, and to feel ordinary happiness. Heh. Being looked after by a handsome man really is something else. I better make sure I keep him. Then from now on, let's just tend this vegetable garden, snack on melon seeds, and have our little squabbles year after year. I must maintain my aloofness. I can't let her see that I'm so happy I could faint. Let's just keep living like this, never parting, alright? My remaining years finally have meaning. Alright. Year after year. Through every season and every meal, planting vegetables at dawn, cooling off in the shade at dusk, I'll stay by your side, never to part. For all the years to come. It will be only you. No more political schemes or strife. No more fighting and killing. No more false pretenses. Just staying together, keeping each other company in the warmth of everyday life, plain tea and simple meals, peace year after year. Warm, gentle, and everlasting. That is the most perfect ending in this world.